Amara Carter could fix almost anything: broken client presentations, panicked interns, and executives who said small change while requesting a full redesign. But she could not fix the feeling that Lee Ji-sung had become a stranger in her own relationship. That Friday night, she stood in her Seoul apartment with homemade food packed in a neat paper bag. On her phone, Ji-sung had texted, "Working late. Don't wait up. Again." On video call, Brielle Johnson squinted through a green face mask. "Girl, surprise him. Best case, he cries because you're thoughtful. Worst case, he is doing villain activities and I get to say I told you so." "You always say that." "Because I am often correct and very underpaid for it." Amara laughed, grabbed her coat and took a taxi to Mireille Luxe Design. She was tired of being suspicious. 6 years together deserved one brave conversation. The lobby guard waved her in. "Still working, Ms. Carter?" "Not tonight. Tonight I'm feeding the emotionally unavailable." Upstairs, the executive floor was dim except for one office, Director Han Seo-yeon's corner suite. The door was slightly open. Then Amara heard Ji-sung laugh. Seo-yeon's voice followed, smooth and amused. "You worry too much. Amara is loyal. Loyal people are the easiest to replace." Amara stepped closer, her heart already breaking before her eyes confirmed why. Inside the office, Ji-sung was not working. There was no laptop, no emergency, no late-night deadline. There was only Director Han Seo-yeon with one hand on his chest, and Ji-sung kissing her like he had been waiting all day for it. The food bag slipped from Amara's hand. Containers hit the marble floor. Ji-sung turned pale. Seo-yeon simply looked Amara up and down as if she were a stain. "Miss Carter," Seo-yeon said, "this floor is restricted after hours." Amara let out a sharp, shocked laugh. "That's your concern? Not the part where my boyfriend is swallowing your lipstick?" Ji-sung stepped forward. "Amara, don't make a scene. I brought dinner. You brought adultery. I feel like yours is louder." His shame lasted only a second. Then his face hardened. "This is exactly why I didn't tell you. You always overreact. To cheating, revolutionary behavior, I know." Seo-yeon picked up a folder from her desk. "Your contract review was next month. Consider it accelerated. Effective immediately, your employment is terminated." Amara stared. "You're firing me because I caught you?" "For emotional instability and unauthorized access." Amara looked at Ji-sung. "Say something." He adjusted his tie. "Seo-yeon is right. You should leave." That silence hurt worse than the kiss. 6 years, Amara whispered. "I wrote your proposals, fixed your reports, practiced your speeches until 2 in the morning. Ji-sung shrugged. "Maybe if you focused more on your own career, you'd still have one." Amara nodded slowly. "Good," she said. He frowned. "Good?" "Yes, I needed one clean reason to stop loving you. You just gave me a gift basket." Then she picked up her empty bag and walked out before either of them saw her cry. Outside, Seoul glowed with traffic and neon. Amara stood by the curb with a cardboard box in her arms, refusing to let the tears fall. "Absolutely not," she whispered. "Public crying is premium content and nobody paid." Across the street, a black luxury sedan waited in silence. Inside, Kang Do-yeon watched the woman lift her chin like she was holding up a collapsing building by force. He had come to finalize the acquisition of Mireille Luxe Design, but the numbers bothered him. Too many wins were credited to Lee Ji-sung. Too many drafts carried Amara Carter's name. Beside him, Choi Min-ho lowered his sunglasses even though it was night. "That looked like a drama finale," Min-ho said. "Should I get popcorn or legal counsel?" Do-yeon did not blink. "Call the audit team." That was not one of the options. "I want every project credited to Lee Ji-sung reviewed. Drafts, timestamps, client notes, emails, everything." Min-ho glanced at Amara, who finally climbed into a taxi with her box on her lap. "Should we help her now?" Do-hyun watched the taxi pull away. "Not yet," Min-ho sighed. "You serious rich people love mysterious answers. A simple yes, Min-ho, rescue the beautiful sad woman would work." Do-hyun finally turned to him. "If she is who I think she does not need rescuing." The sedan moved into traffic. "She needs the truth," Do-hyun said. "And so do I." Brielle arrived 26 minutes after the call, wearing pajamas under a coat and carrying ice cream in one hand and a baseball bat in the other. Amara opened the door. "Why do you have that?" "Emotional support. That is a weapon, exactly." "Very supportive." Amara tried to laugh, but her mouth trembled. Brielle's face softened at once. She set everything on the table and pulled Amara into a hug. On the couch, Amara told her everything. The kiss, the firing, Ji-sung's silence, and how he had thrown her career in her face. For once, Brielle did not interrupt. When Amara finished, Brielle stood. Okay, we go back. No, we do not even have to hit anyone. We can just stand near the lobby plants and look threatening. Still no. Brielle paced. Fine. Then we ruin them legally, professionally, spiritually if possible. Amara wiped her cheek. I feel stupid. You are not stupid. You are loyal. Unfortunately, loyalty in the wrong hands becomes free labor. That sentence settled heavily between them. I helped him with everything, Amara said. The Busan Hotel proposal, the Sapphire Mall redesign, his promotion deck. I told myself we were a team. Brielle sat beside her. Then tomorrow we start acting like you are your own team. Tonight we eat ice cream and insult his haircut. His haircut is fine. Not after betrayal lighting. The next morning, Kang Do-yeon sat inside Hansung Global Capital, while executives praised Mirai Luck's design. They spoke of market value and strong leadership. Do-hyun listened to what they avoided. Lee Ji-sung is listed as lead on several major wins, an analyst said. Sapphire Mall, Busan Royal Hotel, Han River Residences. Do-hyun looked at the screen. Who created the original concepts? The analyst hesitated. Most early drafts name Amara Carter as project coordinator. Coordinator, Do-hyun repeated. At the far end, Minho sipped coffee. Corporate language for the person doing all the work while someone louder buys a nicer tie. Do-hyun ignored him, because he was right. Pull the metadata, Do-hyun said. Draft history, emails, client feedback, internal approvals. I also want anonymous employee reports from Director Han Seo-yeon's division. No filtering through her office. The legal director frowned. That level of review is unusual before acquisition. So is firing a top contributor after hours. The room went quiet. After the meeting, Minho followed Do-hyun into the hallway. Most men see a cheating scandal and say, wow, messy. You started a forensic audit. She was wrongfully terminated. Yes, and you said it like tax law. Very romantic tax law, Do-hyun stopped. This is business, Minho nodded solemnly. Of course. Business with excellent cheekbones, Do-hyun stared. I will be quiet, Minho said. Quietly supportive. Minho. Silent as a fashionable monk. At Mirai Luck's, Ji-sung stood before the team with a confident smile and a slideshow full of Amara's work. The Sapphire Mall Phase 2 approval proves what focused leadership can accomplish, he said. On the screen appeared the customer flow map Amara had drawn by hand after 3 exhausting client meetings. Even the tagline was hers. Luxury should feel effortless. Director Han Seo-yeon smiled from the side. Excellent work, Mr. Lee. A few employees clapped because silence in Seo-yeon's department was dangerous. In the back row, a junior designer named Hana whispered, "This is wrong." Her coworker glanced toward the cameras. "Everything here is wrong. We just try to survive it." Neither noticed the new email waiting in their inboxes. Anonymous Employee Culture Review, Hansung Global Capital. Across the city, Amara sat with Brielle in a cafe staring at her resume. Project coordinator looks so small, Amara said. Brielle leaned over. Then make it honest. Strategic project lead. Client operations specialist, corporate miracle worker with cheekbones of justice. I do not want to oversell myself. Brielle stared at her. Mediocre men oversell themselves before breakfast. You can state one true thing without apologizing to the furniture. Amara's phone buzzed. Invitation to interview, strategic operations consultant. She frowned. I didn't apply for this. Brielle's eyes widened. Maybe God has LinkedIn Premium. At the bottom of the email was one name. Kang Do-yeon. Amara read it twice. Then, for the first time since the worst night of her life, she felt something other than humiliation. Possibility. Hansung Global Capital looked like a company where even the elevators had ambition. Amara arrived 20 minutes early in a cream blouse and tailored trousers, determined not to let yesterday walk in with her. Kang Do-yeon entered exactly on time. Tall, serious, dressed in a black suit with no tie, he bowed politely but did not smile. Ms. Carter, thank you for coming. Thank you for inviting me, though I am still wondering how you found me. Your work was not difficult to find, he said. It was only difficult to find under your name. Amara held his gaze. That is a diplomatic way to say someone stole it. I try to be accurate before I become blunt. Dangerous habit. Most executives prefer the opposite. Something almost like amusement touched his eyes. Then it vanished. Do-hyun skipped the usual interview nonsense. He asked about toxic managers, client trust, and what she would change about her old projects. Bad leadership is expensive, Amara said. Good employees leave, weak employees flatter, and everyone starts making decisions based on who is most frightening. Do-hyun watched her. And what would you do with frightening people? Amara smiled slightly. Give them rules, measurable targets, and no audience. Bullies hate documentation. For a long second, Do-hyun said nothing. Was that too honest? She asked. No, he said. It was useful. While Amara interviewed upstairs, Brielle waited in the lobby cafe as emotional security detail. A man in an expensive coat leaned beside her with impossible confidence. You must be Brielle, he said. Brielle turned slowly. And you must be a man who thinks that opening line was normal. He placed a hand over his heart. Choi Minho, friend of Do-hyun, occasional consultant, full-time delight. Full-time what? Delight. You said that with your whole face. My face is committed. Brielle looked him over. Handsome, rich, dramatic. Are you spying on me? No, I am making sure you are comfortable. Pastry while your friend is possibly being offered a life-changing job? Possibly. I know nothing. I am decorative. The barista called Brielle's name. Minho reached for the cup at the same time she did, and knocked over a display of sugar packets. Minho Frazi. This is not my usual level of elegance. What is your usual level? Slightly above this. Against her will, Brielle laughed. Minho brightened. There it is. You like me. I laughed at the sugar, not the man. A beginning is a beginning. Brielle picked up her latte. If your serious billionaire friend hurts Amara, I become your company's worst PR problem. Minho bowed. If Do-hyun hurts her, I will hold your earrings. She paused. That was actually correct. I know. I am growing on you. Like mold. After the interview, Do-hyun walked Amara to the elevator himself. You are direct, he said. I've been told it is one of my inconvenient qualities. Only to people who depend on confusion. The elevator opened. Amara stepped in, then turned back. Mr. Kang, did you know what happened to me at Mirai Lux? Do-hyun's silence answered first. I saw enough, he said. Heat rose to her face. Then you should know I do not need pity. I do. This is not pity, Do-hyun said. Pity is inefficient. I do not make hiring decisions with it. Amara blinked. That may be the least romantic sentence anyone has ever said. This is not a romance interview. Good. I did not bring references for that. This time, he almost smiled. Downstairs, Brielle jumped up. Well, did Serious Cheekbones offer you the kingdom? His name is Kang Do-hyun. I know what I said. Before Amara could answer, Minho appeared with a pastry box. For emotional recovery, Brielle took it. Suspicious, but accepted. Upstairs, Do-hyun returned to his hiring director. Next interview stage? She asked. No, Do-hyun said. Hire her. Strategic operations consultant, directly under my office. By the time Amara reached the sidewalk, her phone buzzed. Official offer, Hansung Global Capital. The salary was nearly double. Amara looked up at the tower and smiled. Brielle, I think my worst day just got promoted. Behind the glass above them, Do-hyun watched her read the offer. Minho appeared beside him with half a croissant. Normal people flirt before changing someone's life. I hired her because she is qualified. Of course. And I bought this because weed inspires me. Do-hyun looked back at Amara. Prepare the Mirai Lux acquisition files. If we move forward, I want Amara Carter in the room. Minho's grin sharpened. And Ji-sung? Seo-yeon? Do-hyun's voice stayed quiet. They wanted credit. Soon they can have accountability. Amara stopped in front of the office with her name on a silver plate. Strategy consultant, Brielle read, leaning close. Girl, your old job didn't even give you a stapler that worked. Now you have a door. It's not my door, Amara said. It's the company's door with my name temporarily intimidating it. Kang Do-hyun appeared behind them in a black suit, calm as winter. It is your office, Ms. Carter. Brielle jumped. Do you float? Why are rich people silent like expensive ghosts? Do-hyun looked at her. Good morning, Ms. Johnson. He knows my name, Brielle whispered. Should I bow or invoice him? Amara hid a smile. Please don't start. Do-hyun handed Amara a folder. Your first assignment. Review the failed expansion strategy of a design company we may acquire. Amara opened it. Her smile faded. This is my old company. Yes. You could have warned me. I wanted your honest reaction. Amara closed the folder slowly. My honest reaction is that this plan looks like a PowerPoint had a panic attack. Brielle pointed at her. That's my girl. Corporate but spicy. Do-hyun's mouth almost moved. Almost. Then fix the panic attack, he said. Amara sat at the desk, picked up a pen and lifted her chin. Fine. But if I find the words prestige synergy in here, I am suing emotionally. At Reed and Vale Design Group, Director Han Soyeon stood in her office, while Lee Ji-sung paced like a man being chased by consequences. Han Sung requested version history, Ji-sung said. Original drafts, client notes, everything. Seoyeon adjusted her pearl earring, then give them polished files. Version history cannot be polished. That's the point. Her eyes narrowed. You told me Amara was replaceable. She was. Then why are you sweating? Because replaceable women usually don't keep every email since 2019. Seoyeon went still. Ji-sung lowered his voice. Amara saves everything. Drafts, meeting notes, screenshots. Once she kept a receipt for a broken blender for 18 months because she said, warranty revenge has no expiration date. Seoyeon stared at him. You dated a woman with documentary instincts and still stole her work? You promoted me for it. Do not confuse my ambition with your stupidity. A knock came at the door. An assistant entered. Director Han Sung also requested all performance reviews for Amara Carter. Ji-sung's face dropped. Seoyeon smiled tightly. Tell them excellence requires time. When the assistant left, Ji-sung whispered, Why do they care about Amara? Seoyeon looked out over the city. Find out where she works now. By evening, Amara's desk was covered in notes. Do-hyun entered with coffee and set one cup beside her. You missed lunch. I ate 1 mint from Brielle's purse. Very balanced. Mint is a leaf. That is not food. It believed in me. Do-hyun sat across from her. Your findings? Amara tapped the report. The expansion failed because leadership ignored retention data and chased expensive partnerships that looked good in photos. Who approved it? Director Han Soyeon. And Ji-sung? He presented my original strategy after removing the parts that required discipline and adding nonsense like prestige synergy. Do-hyun repeated it flatly. Prestige synergy. I warned you. Emotional lawsuit. He opened her notes. This is strong work. You sound surprised. I sound accurate. That is such a rich man sentence. He looked at her, serious. Tomorrow, sit in the acquisition review meeting. Amara blinked. With your executives? I started today. My chair still feels like a loner. Your insight is not a loner. She studied him, then smiled despite herself. Do you practice lines in a mirror? No. You should. The delivery is terrifyingly clean. As he left, her phone buzzed. Brielle, did the rich statue feed you? Amara typed back, coffee, and possibly a war. Brielle replied, wear earrings that can survive battle. The acquisition review room was silent as Amara sat beside Do-hyun. 12 executives watched the screen. Do-hyun nodded to the legal director. Show the files. Emails appeared one by one. Original strategy, Amara Carter. Client retention map, Amara Carter. Final presentation, Lee Ji-sung. One executive murmured, That's not subtle. Amara folded her hands. Ji-sung was many things. Subtle was not invited. The legal director opened another file. Client retention final. Stop touching this Ji-sung.pptx, he read. Amara sighed. That was private pain. Do-hyun looked at her. You named a file that? After draft 12, professionalism becomes a costume. A few executives laughed. Then the next email appeared. Good work, Ji-sung. Keep Amara off the senior presentation. She gets emotional in front of important people. Director Han Seoyeon. The room went cold. Do-hyun asked, why did she say that? Amara's smile sharpened. Because I corrected her numbers in a meeting. Loudly? No. Accurately? Tragically, yes. The finance director checked the report. Your forecast predicted the losses within 3%. I was annoying, not wrong. Do-hyun turned to legal. Add this to the misconduct file. Amara raised an eyebrow. Misconduct file is a calm name for a folder full of betrayal. Would you prefer another name? Corporate crimes and emotional damage. The legal director paused over the keyboard. Amara pointed at him. Please don't actually rename it. Do-hyun said nothing. Mr. Kang? I did not stop him. Brielle was eating noodles when Choi Minho slid into the chair across from her wearing sunglasses indoors. Absolutely not, she said. You don't know what I'm about to say. You sat down like a man who says, hear me out, before ruining lunch. Minho smiled. Hear me out. Jail, immediately. He removed the sunglasses. Do-hyun asked me to check if Amara ate. Brielle paused. He did? Yes, he cares. But he cares like a tax document, she snorted. That is painfully accurate. Also, I think he likes her. Slow down, rich puppy. She got cheated on last week. Rich puppy? I was hoping for tiger. A tiger wouldn't need feedback. Minho nodded. Fair. Brielle pointed her chopsticks at him. No romance committee. No meddling. No dramatic music. What if the music is tasteful? Minho. Fine, minimal meddling. 0. 0 with emotional support snacks? She fought a smile. You are ridiculous, and you are terrifying. Not a compliment? I receive all attention as compliments. It saves time, Brielle laughed. You need supervision, Minho grinned. Is that an invitation? It's a warning label. That afternoon, Do-hyun brought Amara into a smaller conference room. A nervous woman stood when she entered. Amara, the woman said. I'm Yuna from operations, Amara softened. You sent me client notes when everyone else pretended my email didn't exist. I remember. Yuna held out a folder. I should have spoken sooner. Director Han made us remove your name from reports. She said you were becoming too visible. Amara opened the folder. Messages, screenshots, instructions. Remove Amara from the summary. Credit Jisung for strategy. Do not invite Amara to senior review. Amara exhaled. She really wanted my name erased from Oxygen. Yuna's eyes watered. I'm sorry. You had a job to protect, Amara said. Fear with bills attached is still fear. Do-hyun's voice was low. Did Mr. Lee know? Yuna nodded. Sometimes he requested it. He said Amara doesn't need credit. She has me. Amara closed the folder. Wow, the audacity had dental benefits. Do-hyun looked at her. You don't have to joke. I know. But if I scream, someone will call security and I'm tired of being escorted out of buildings. Yuna gave a tiny laugh through tears. Then she added, Jisung asked IT about your old email backups this morning. Do-hyun became completely still. When? This morning, Amara lifted both eyebrows. Trying to rob the house after the police arrive. Bold, stupid but bold. Do-hyun turned to his legal director. Preserve all data. Freeze their internal access. When Yuna left, Amara looked at the folder. You were right, she said. There is evidence. Do-hyun picked it up. Tomorrow it becomes a leadership decision. Amara found out by accident. She was leaving late when she heard voices from the executive conference room. Chairman Kang, an advisor said, if Han Seong finalizes the acquisition this week, the press will ask why you personally reviewed a mid-sized design firm. Do-hyun answered, let them ask. Amara froze. Chairman Kang. Minho appeared beside her with 2 coffees. Ah, she turned slowly. Ah, that is your explanation? Would you prefer a longer betrayal sound? Ah, Minho. In my defense, I assumed you knew. Do-hyun gives owner energy. He gives emotionally unavailable marble statue energy. Exactly. Owner energy. The conference door opened. Do-hyun stepped out and read her face immediately. Ms. Carter. Don't Ms. Carter me. You own Hansong Global? My family owns a majority stake. I lead the investment division. That is not smaller. Minho backed away. I dislike consequences. I will vanish. Amara crossed her arms. Why didn't you tell me? Do-hyun's voice stayed calm. I wanted your work to stand without pressure. If you knew who I was, you might have performed for power instead of truth. That's almost reasonable, which is very annoying. You may still be angry. Generous employee benefit. He looked at her serious. You are not my charity case, Amara. I hired you because you are exceptional. Her anger softened just a little. You should have told me, she said. Yes, that's it? No defense? You are right, she sighed. Now my speech feels wasteful. The next morning, Do-hyun brought Amara to a private strategy room. A leadership chart covered the wall. Amara stared at it. This looks like a murder board for capitalism. He handed her a marker. Fix it. Good morning to you too. Good morning. Fix it. She circled 3 departments. Client service is cleaning up bad sales promises. Creative strategy is ignored. Finance is approving executive ego. Solution? Separate profitable clients from trophy clients. Create approval gates. Protect the teams doing real work. And fire whoever writes prestige synergy. If you led the company after acquisition, what would you change first? Amara laughed, then stopped. You're serious? Yes. I was a project coordinator a week ago. You were undertitled. Different problem. She lowered the marker. Why are you doing this? Because talent ignored becomes damage. Talent placed correctly becomes power. Amara had no joke ready. Then the door burst open. Brielle and Minho entered with snacks. Brielle pointed at him. Tell your friend I am not joining his romance support committee. Minho held up a paper. It has a logo. Do-hyun closed his eyes. Why are you here? Morale, Minho said. And breakfast, Brielle added. Because my best friend thinks coffee is a meal. Amara smiled. I am loved aggressively, Brielle nodded. Correct. At Reed and Vale, Seoyeon stood before the executive team while Jisung tried to look calm and failed beautifully. Everyone remain professional, Seoyeon said. Acquisition rumors do not change leadership. The screen lit up with Hanseong Global's logo. Hanseong Global Investments has finalized the acquisition of Reed and Vale Design Group. Leadership review begins immediately. The room exploded with whispers. Jisung leaned toward Seoyeon. Leadership review? She smiled tightly. Continuity matters. They will need me. The HR manager entered, pale. Representatives from Hanseong will arrive tomorrow at 9. All department heads must attend. Who is leading the visit? Seoyeon asked. Chairman Kang Do-hyun. More whispers. The HR manager swallowed. Mr. Lee must bring all client retention files. Original drafts included. Director Han must provide all performance records for Amara Carter. Jisung's face went white. Why, he whispered. Do they care about Amara? Seoyeon said nothing. Across the city, Amara read the same announcement on Do-hyun's tablet. Tomorrow? She asked. Yes, and you want me there? Beside me, she laughed nervously. That building threw me out with a cardboard box. Do-hyun held her gaze, then returned without one. You say everything like it belongs in a trailer. Is that bad? For my blood pressure, yes. He asked, Are you ready? Amara thought of Jisung and Seoyeon. No, she said. But I'm going anyway. Do-hyun nodded. Good. The lobby of Reed and Vale looked exactly the same, which annoyed Amara more than it should have. Brielle whispered, I vote we enter with thunder. Do you have thunder? Amara adjusted her blazer. I have lip gloss and anxiety. Pick one. Do-hyun stepped out of the elevator in a black suit, silent and controlled. The lobby quieted instantly. Amara muttered, He really does walk like a final decision. Do-hyun heard her. Is that criticism? No, just a safety warning for everyone else. His eyes moved to the box in her hands. Why did you bring that? This is the same cardboard box they made me carry out. Today I brought it back full of receipts, Minho gasped. A prop, powerful, cinematic, slightly petty. Do-hyun turned toward the conference floor. Let's begin. Inside the executive conference room, Director Han Seoyeon stood near the head of the table in a white suit, polished enough to frighten mirrors. Jisung sat beside her, tapping his pen against a folder. When Amara entered with Do-hyun, his pen stopped. Amara? Jisung said. Brielle leaned toward Minho. His soul just unplugged. Minho whispered back, Should we applaud or call a technician? Seoyeon's smile sharpened. Ms. Carter, I wasn't informed you'd be attending. Amara placed the cardboard box on the table. I know, you rarely informed me of things that involved my own work. Jisung cleared his throat. This is inappropriate. Amara turned to him. You kissed my boss in her office and let her fire me. Your definition of appropriate retired early. Do-hyun's voice cut through the room. Mr. Lee, Director Han, sit down. Seoyeon folded her hands. Chairman Kang, continuity during acquisition is delicate. My leadership has kept this company stable. Stable? Amara opened the box and removed printed emails. If a boat is sinking quietly, it is still sinking. Brielle whispered, Put that on a mug. Do-hyun glanced at the legal director. Present the findings. The screen filled with original drafts, deleted credits, client warnings, and performance reviews rewritten to bury Amara's results. Jisung turned pale. Those were preliminary files. Amara smiled sweetly. Preliminary theft is still theft, Jisung. It just wears comfortable shoes. Do-hyun stood at the head of the table. Nobody moved. Reed and Vale lost clients because leadership rewarded appearances over competence, he said. That ends today. Seoyeon smiled. I agree. I am prepared to guide the transition, Minho whispered. The confidence of a woman standing on a trapdoor. Brielle whispered back. Don't ruin this. I packed popcorn in my purse. Do-hyun continued. Director Han Seo-yeon is suspended from strategic authority pending full audit review. Seo-yeon's face froze. Mr. Lee Ji-sung is removed from all client-facing leadership pending review of intellectual property misconduct. Ji-sung stood. Chairman Kang, this is a misunderstanding. Amara and I work together. She knows that. Amara met his eyes. We did work together, I worked. You togethered. Someone coughed to hide a laugh. Do-hyun looked at the room. Effective immediately, Amara Carter will serve as acting executive director of Reed and Vale Design Group. The silence was explosive. Seo-yeon whispered, "You cannot be serious." Do-hyun's expression did not change. "I rarely joke." Minho raised one hand. "He doesn't, it's a family tragedy," Do-hyun added. "Starting tomorrow, Director Han and Mr. Lee will report directly to Ms. Carter until the audit concludes." Ji-sung stared at Amara. Seo-yeon looked like the floor had betrayed her. Amara picked up the old cardboard box and smiled. "Well," she said, "I guess I should find my new office." The next morning, Amara found a gold nameplate on the executive office door. Amara Carter, acting executive director. Brielle took a photo. "For legal reasons, I am not crying. My eyes are sweating with pride." Amara touched the nameplate. "This feels unreal." Minho popped up behind them with 2 coffees. "Nothing says reality like caffeine and enemies waiting outside your office." Brielle snatched 1 cup. "Why are you always appearing with beverages?" "It's my love language." "Your love language is chaos with foam." Do-hyun entered, serious as always. "Your first leadership meeting begins in 10 minutes. Amara pointed at him. "Any advice?"
"Do not shrink. That sounds expensive. It is free. Then say it again."
"I love a bargain." His mouth almost curved. "Do not shrink." In the conference room, Soyeon sat stiffly at one end. Ji-sung avoided Amara's eyes. Amara opened her folder. "Good morning. Today we review client recovery, staff morale, and why nobody needs to say prestige synergy ever again." A manager raised a nervous hand. "Should we address the leadership changes?" "Of course," Amara said. "I was fired from this building after catching my boyfriend cheating with my boss. Now I run the building. Questions?" No one spoke. "Great. Let's discuss retention." After the meeting, Ji-sung followed Amara into the hallway. "Amara, can we talk?" She kept walking. "Professionally, yes. Emotionally, my schedule is full until never. I made mistakes. You made a relationship into a business ladder and climbed it wearing stolen shoes." He lowered his voice. "Seo-yeon pressured me." Amara stopped. "Did she pressure your mouth onto hers?" Ji-sung looked around. "Please don't make this ugly." She laughed once. "You humiliated me in front of an office and now you're asking for interior design tips on the mess?" Do-hyun appeared at the end of the hallway. He didn't interrupt. He just watched. Ji-sung noticed him and straightened. "Chairman Kang, I was only trying to clarify context," Do-hyun said. "Context does not erase conduct." Amara folded her arms. "Translation, try again but with accountability." Ji-sung swallowed. "I took credit for some of your work." "Some?" "A lot of your work. Warmer. Most of your work." Amara smiled. "Look at that. Growth. Terrifying, but growth." Do-hyun turned to Amara. "Do you want him removed from the floor?" "No," she said. "Let him stay. I need him to answer audit questions. Besides, watching him use a printer under supervision feels healing." That night, Do-hyun took Amara to a quiet rooftop restaurant overlooking Seoul. Amara studied the menu. "There are no prices. That means the shrimp has a credit score." Do-hyun poured water. "Order anything." Dangerous sentence. Brielle once said that and I ordered dignity from my ex. It was unavailable. He looked at her carefully. "You joke when something hurts. And you stare like a doctor diagnosing secrets. Am I wrong?" She set the menu down. "No, but I don't want to be a sad story you rescued." "You are not. Because people will say you handed me that job." "People say many things when talent makes them uncomfortable." Amara looked at the city. "I wanted revenge when I walked back in. Then I saw everyone looking at me like I might become exactly like Seo-yeon." "You won't." "You sound sure." "I watched you correct a man who betrayed you without losing your standards." "That is rare," she softened. "You always say serious things like the background music should swell." "Should it?" "Maybe a little." He almost smiled. Amara raised her glass. "To not shrinking." Do-hyun lifted his. "To leadership." She tilted her head. And maybe to shrimp with excellent credit. This time he actually smiled. The audit room looked peaceful, which was rude considering it contained 3 years of corporate crime. Amara sat beside Do-hyun while legal displayed the timeline. The auditor pointed to the screen. 26 strategy files show original authorship by Amara Carter and final presentation by Lee Ji-sung. Ji-sung rubbed his forehead. We collaborated, Amara leaned forward. Collaborated? You changed the font and added a skyline photo, Minho whispered to Brielle. To be fair, skyline photos are powerful, Brielle whispered back. Say one more thing and I will audit your personality, the auditor continued. Multiple employees confirmed Director Han instructed them to remove Ms. Carter from leadership summaries. Seo-yeon sat perfectly still. Anonymous employees are unreliable. Fear makes people dramatic, Amara nodded. True. Fear once made me date Ji-sung because I feared wasting 6 years. Very unreliable, Ji-sung flinched. Do-hyun asked. Director Han, did you approve these altered reports? Seo-yeon lifted her chin. I approved executive-ready materials. That is not an answer. It is a leadership answer. Amara smiled. No, it's a designer answer. Pretty from far away, suspicious up close. The legal director placed one final email on screen. Remove Carter. Give Lee the deck. She has no leverage now. The sender Han Seo-yeon. The room went silent. Seo-yeon turned slowly toward Ji-sung. You kept my emails. Ji-sung panicked. I kept everything in case I needed protection. She laughed coldly. From what? Your own incompetence? He pointed at her. You told me Amara was easy to control. You said if I stayed close to her I could use her ideas before she realized her value. Amara's expression changed, but her voice stayed calm. You stayed with me for access to my work? Ji-sung looked at her. It wasn't like that at first. Brielle stood up. At first? Sir, that sentence needs a helmet. Minho gently pulled her back. Save some for the parking lot. Do-hyun's voice dropped. Mr. Lee, answer Ms. Carter. Ji-sung swallowed. I was falling behind. You were good at everything, and I thought if I just used one presentation. One became 26, Amara said. I didn't think you'd ever find out. She nodded slowly. That's the first honest thing you've said, Seo-yeon scoffed. Please, he was ambitious and you were naive. This company rewards winners. Amara looked at her. No, it rewarded thieves who wore blazers. Do-hyun closed the folder in front of him. Then we change what it rewards. The final decision came before sunset. Do-hyun stood in the executive lobby with Amara beside him. Director Han Seo-yeon, your employment is terminated effective immediately, he said. Lee Ji-sung, your employment is also terminated. Legal proceedings will follow where necessary. Ji-sung's voice cracked. Amara, please. You know me. She took a breath. I did. That's why this hurts. I can fix it. No, Ji-sung. You want to survive it. That's different. Seo-yeon grabbed her purse. This company will collapse without me. From the back, an employee muttered. It survived your meetings. We have practice. Brielle covered her mouth. Minho wheezed. Security arrived. Seo-yeon looked at Amara one last time. Enjoy the office while it lasts. Amara smiled. I plan to. I hear the previous director left a lot of space after removing everyone else's names. Ji-sung's shoulders dropped as security led him toward the elevator. The lobby stayed silent until the doors closed. Then one person clapped. Then another. Soon, applause filled the room. Amara blinked fast. Do-hyun leaned closer, his voice quiet. Do not shrink, she laughed through the tears. You need new material. Not when this one works. 3 months later, Reed and Vale no longer felt like a museum for executive egos. The walls were brighter. The teams actually spoke to each other. And nobody had used the phrase prestige synergy without being booed by accounting. Amara walked into the open workspace with a tablet. Morning. Client recovery update? Yuna smiled. We regained 2 accounts and secured 1 new hospitality client. Amara nodded. Excellent. Also, whoever labeled the shared folder, definitely not Ji-sung's stolen ideas, needs to rename it. Do-hyun entered quietly, but the room still noticed him like weather changing. Amara looked over. Chairman Kang, you're early. You sent the quarterly report at 5:30 in the morning. That's not early. That's aggressively prepared. It was excellent. Careful. Compliments before coffee can cause dizziness. He handed her a cup. Then drink. Brielle walked in behind him. Oh, look. The serious billionaire brought coffee. Character development. That evening, the The company celebration filled the rooftop with lights, music, and employees who finally looked relaxed. Brielle stood near the dessert table when Minho marched toward her holding flowers, sweating through confidence. "Brielle Johnson," he announced. She narrowed her eyes. "Why did you say my full government name near cake?" "Because I am about to be sincere." "That sounds medically risky." He took a breath. "I like you. You terrify me. You insult me with precision. You once called my outfit financially loud, and I thought about it for 2 days." Brielle blinked. "That was not my best insult." "Exactly. Your casual work is already art. So, will you let me take you to dinner? Properly, no sunglasses. No committee. Minimal chaos." Brielle tried not to laugh, failed. "One dinner," she said. "If you wear sunglasses indoors, I leave." Minho gasped. "So yes?" "So yes." He turned to the rooftop. "She said yes to food!" Amara yelled from across the party. "We heard you, Minho," Do-hyun murmured. Everyone in Seoul heard him. Later, Amara slipped away to the edge of the rooftop. Seoul glittered below, bright and endless. Do-hyun joined her without a sound. She smiled. "Still doing the expensive ghost thing. It saves time." The company survived its first quarter under me. It did more than survive. It improved. Amara looked down at her hands. "Sometimes I still think about that night. Walking out with that box, feeling stupid for loving someone who was using me." Do-hyun's voice softened. "You were not stupid. You were loyal to someone who did not deserve loyalty." She looked at him. "You always know what to say." "No, I know what is true." A small laugh escaped her. "That is the most Do-hyun sentence you've ever said." He stepped closer. "The day I saw you leave that building, I thought you were strong. Then I learned you were brilliant. Then I learned you were kind, even when you had every reason not to be." Amara's smile faded into something softer. "And after that?" He held her gaze. "I wanted to stand beside you, even when you no longer needed rescue." For once, Amara had no witty comeback. She reached for his hand. "Good, because I don't need a rescuer." "I know. But I might accept a very serious man who brings coffee and says dramatic things on rooftops." Do-hyun finally smiled. "That can be arranged." She leaned in. "There you go again. Trailer voice." He kissed her as the city lights shimmered around them. Behind them, Minho shouted, "I knew it!" Brielle yelled, "Stop narrating romance, you expensive golden retriever." Amara laughed against Do-hyun's shoulder. For the first time in months, nothing felt stolen. Everything felt chosen.